Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect, episode 369. We are recording this and broadcasting live on Sunday, May 23rd, 2021. I'm David Lotz. Joining me as always is Bobby Jackson.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And Yasha Wilson.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going all right.
Good.
Not too much longer before Memorial Day weekend, so it's good. Good times ahead, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
Bobby, it sounds like you got plans?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like everybody that I have normally see has gotten their shots and are looking to get together. And it's probably been a year since pretty much since everyone's gotten together. I think the last time I saw some of those guys were probably around Super Bowl last year. So it's been a while. So it should be kind of cool.
Nice.
That's cool. So we're back. Well, we've all seen the same movie this week, and I have a feeling that's probably going to be the main topic of conversation. I don't think any of us have really seen anything else other than, but what is it? Yasha, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, let's dive in. I mean, should we use the Bowl of Destiny?
Actually, I don't even know what the bowl is around here. Oh, I think it's hiding back there. It probably doesn't even have, a kid is probably taking one of your names out of it. And
that's right. It was my name that's gone now.
Yeah, your name was missing.
That's right.
But yeah, we've actually all seen the same movie, which I don't think has happened in quite a while. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually do spoilers for this, which I'll say right up front before I even say what the movie is, I would like to do. But we have all seen Army of the Dead over on Netflix. The new Zack Snyder film. What was that, Yasha? I think you were muted. I can't hear you.
Do the review alphabetically. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. That joke is totally lost because for whatever reason, mute was on. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. So we're going to go in alphabetical order? Perfect.
Yeah. First names.
I like it. Bobby.
It's so weird because it's been so long. I forgot that we used to do that we would each take a turn at talking about what we thought about the movie. I'm so used to us just not having seen the same thing that we're all just sort of talking about what we've each seen as opposed to seeing the same movie to talk about. So
yeah, especially this past year because of COVID. I mean, the show has even been thrown off. Like, it's not like we've been all seeing the same movie in theaters every weekend. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I think we've talked about this already, but I still think about it. It's like, can you imagine if this happened the year Endgame was supposed to come out? I would have been so sad, just so sad, delayed for an entire year to see what happens and how it transpires.
Yeah, no, it's already bad enough how many movies are backed up because of it, and having to see all these movies that are going to be coming out in a flood here soon. But just in general, I think that the fact that we were able to kind of just miss that window and have Endgame come out when it did, it was something that was obviously big because I don't think we talked about it on the show that I can remember. We may have, but when Marvel released their trailer for, kind of welcome back to the movies, the scene was featured in that trailer for Endgame when people were in the audience and watching that and having the reaction with Cap and everybody, the portals scene. And so, it's just one of those things that people had latched on to that so much because it was such a good memory of being back in a time when everybody was at the theaters and everything else was not in play at that point. So it was definitely good to have that have come out when it did and to have that still sort of as a memory of what it's like to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Bobby, I guess you're kicking us off. Army of the Dead is on Netflix. New Zack Snyder film. we've all seen it. It's probably going to be the basic, or basically the topic of conversation tonight. So, Bobby, start us off. What do you think of it?
Yeah, so I mean, the premise is fairly simple. There's a team of that's put together to go into Vegas and go into this vault and take $200 million at the behest of a shady government individual. I forget the actor's name who plays him, but he also was just recently in Mortal Kombat playing the Scorpion character. And I don't know
Oh,
why I
that
can't
was
think of his
him,
name
huh?
offhand. Yeah, because he's been in a ton of stuff. But I mean, the plot is pretty simple. The I think the difference here is that within this world of zombies. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I guess, that the whole city of Vegas, Las Vegas, is overrun with zombies, but has been quarantined and blocked off. And the plan is to send missiles to destroy and level Las Vegas and essentially kill all the zombies that are there. And so they are on a tight time frame to get in and get out with all the money. And of course, I mean, this is a zombie movie, so they're going to do some things in there that you kind of expect in terms of, you have a crew that's going in there, not everyone's going to make it out. So it's like, who's going to make it out? And then you're also wondering in terms of how they're going to differentiate their zombies, because that's always the thing in any kind of um, movie that tries to take on the zombie genre at this point, is how do you make your zombies different? And in this case, they have some zombies that are different, that are a little bit uh, elevated, not quite to the point of an intelligence per se, but they can do some things, and they move fast and different stuff like that. So um, my thoughts are that for this being a Zack Snyder movie, it was nice to see him doing something outside of the superhero genre. Because I mean, I've liked all of his other movies that I've seen. The only one of his movies that I don't think I've seen at this point is probably Sucker Punch, and so many people had so much bad to say about it. It pushed me away from never seeing it in the first place. So for me, I've always enjoyed, for the most part, Zach's movies outside of the superhero stuff. It's when he gets in the superhero stuff that my opinion can go up or down, and it has with the different movies that he's made. So this kind of was a refreshing thing for him to do that's not superhero related, and I thought it was fine. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't know that I necessarily thought that it was doing anything completely different, and I think the concept is different, and I like the idea of it. And it's stylized in a way that Zack Snyder typically does with his movies, with slow motion shots, with framing action in certain ways that looks pretty cool. And it's kind of what you would expect from a Zack Snyder zombie movie that isn't the one that he redid. What was it?
Dawn of the
Uh,
Dead.
Yes, thank you. So I
Dawn
would
of the
say
Dead.
I still like Dawn of the Dead better than this, but I did like this, and it accepted it for what it was, which I think it was just a nice little. Well, I will say it's not little, because the runtime on it is pretty long, and it probably could have been a little bit shorter. But I did think that it did a good job in terms of setting up the stakes and getting you at least acclimated to some of the characters early on, and being able to move that forward as things start to happen throughout the story. So overall, I liked it and thought it was a fun ride, but I wouldn't say I was overly pumped or jazzed by it by the end. But no negative thoughts necessarily.
All right. Uh, what, alphabetical? I guess I'm next. um,
Yeah.
well, yeah. I wasn't able to watch this in one sitting, unfortunately. It was a busy weekend. It's definitely not the kind of movie I can watch in front of the kids. So I ended up seeing it in two parts. I saw the first half last night, and I just finished the film right before we started recording. It's actually the main reason we're starting later is because I needed the extra time to finish the movie. So yeah, it's definitely fresh in my mind. To kind of recap my thoughts on Zack Snyder really quick. For the most part, I like most of his films, and I'm with you, Bobby, when it comes to superhero films. It's a little hit or miss with some highs and some lows for sure. But I wouldn't categorize myself as like a Zack Snyder hater, and I definitely know my fair share of people that feel that way about him. I like a lot of his movies. Uh, I would agree. I think Dawn of the Dead is better than this. This movie is good. I was enjoying it, I think, more right at the opening. And I kind of was like, okay, I'm digging this for what it is. And I think this could be fun. And I definitely like the premise, of this just kind of this contained zombie outbreak in Vegas that has been contained by humankind and they really haven't gotten out. And then we have this kind of heist, plan to rob a casino in the middle of this, contained zombie outbreak. And it was a fun idea. But then as the movie really kind of got going, mainly the second half of the film that I watched just now, that, I don't know, like the bad writing really started to stick out in a way that it bothered me more and more. This really bad dialogue. The film is definitely too long. I think Zack Snyder, I get that he's making a film on Netflix where runtime isn't as important as seeing a movie in a movie theater, but this movie definitely could have been cut, and there's scenes that just drag down too much. And then there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to talk about, like if we talk about spoilers for sure, that just aspects of the film that just straight up don't make sense. So I don't know, I was enjoying myself at first, but it kind of went downhill for me. And in the end, I thought it was fine, but could I recommend it? I don't think so. So that's where I am without talking about spoilers for Army of the Dead. Yasha, that leaves you.
Yeah, I guess that leaves me. So, where do I even begin? When I first started watching this movie, I genuinely thought to myself, "Man, we are definitely in trouble if Dave Bautista is the best actor on screen right now because he's not a great actor. He does a really good job for the roles that he's asked to play, but he's not a great actor. And the actress that he was dancing off of or playing off of, I found it almost nauseating to watch her. It just felt like she was reading lines or memorized and rehearsed them, but it wasn't in a fashion of like, oh, that's a believable acting part, but it was just there. And I understand that that's savage and that's a little bit harsh, but that's just kind of how I started to take it. David, like you, I think I really did enjoy the first part of the movie. I enjoyed the premise. I liked the idea. It was interesting how everything kind of transpired and how they started to progress towards it. And then it became even more interesting as things started to go along with the whole idea of the heist and getting in there. A little bit of the curveball that they talked about, and I'll get into that with spoilers, which I did enjoy and I liked. Some parts I really didn't like, but I really liked the reinvention of kind of this whole zombie genre. Like I really kind of was on board with it. I was like, yeah, I can get behind this. This is kind of cool, and it was fun to kind of watch. But yeah, there was parts of that could really have been cut down like a lot to really shorten up the movie. And there's no harm in making a shorter movie and getting the story across and being impactful. Like you can do it in an hour and 30 minutes. You don't have to make it 2.5 hours long. It's not a rule. So that being said, I enjoyed it. It was fine. And yeah, I had a good time watching it for the most part. But is it something that I would definitely? I mean, I thought it was a fun movie. It was just a very easy watch. I don't know if this whole universe that he plans on trying to build is going to really transpire, or how much it's going to work, or how people are really going to be into it. I'll be interested to see what kind of results this movie has. But it was good to see him kind of branch out. I like Zack Snyder. I like Zack Snyder's films. I'm like just like Bobby. I've never seen Sucker Punch, and because it was so horribly received, and a lot of people that I trust watched it and didn't like it, I have no desire to ever really sit through that film. But with this one, I enjoyed. I really liked it. So
Huh?
that was cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Don't get me wrong. I probably won't ever watch it again.
Oh no, I wouldn't imagine. No, I was gonna say. I guess I am the one guy here who has seen Sucker Punch, but yeah, that's another subject. So yeah, that's Army of the Dead. I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about spoilers for it? I mean, anything else you want to touch on, or?
Let's get into spoilers.
I don't know. I mean,
Let's do it.
I'm good to go to spoilers because
Sure.
I don't think we have anything else to say about the regular part of it.
Not really. So yeah, here on out, we're going to talk about spoilers for Army of the Dead. So you've been warned if you are watching this. If you have not seen the film and you want to, you might want to avoid the rest of our conversation because we're going to talk about all the details of Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead from here on out. All right. Spoilers. Who wants to get us started?
Can we just? All right, I will. Let's just talk about the zombie baby. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the zombie baby. How that fucking came into play. And I called it like when I was watching. It's like, oh, that queen better not be. Oh, yep, she's pregnant. There it is. They're gonna show it. That's pretty fucking dark, Zach. All right.
I don't really have anything to comment on the zombie baby, I guess. I don't know. Like, it felt like a moment of like, oh, wow, okay. And then that was kind of it. And it's really not touched on again. I mean, especially considering how we know the movie's going to end with the entire city being just completely, obliterated. But, yeah, I don't really know how to take the zombie baby thing. What were you, Bobby? You seem like you're humming and hawing over there, and like you want to say something about it.
Only in the same way that you are is that it's hard to really have anything to say about it because I don't really know what Zach was trying to say about it. I mean, it was there and then it wasn't, and so it was like, was it just being done for the sake of it's not something that you've seen before, so let's just throw that in there, or was it supposed to be maybe alluding to something within his larger universe that he's trying to do? And throw that idea out there that, maybe you start to see some zombie babies of some sort. I don't know. So it's just kind of like hard to catch a read on it, really, other than like, that's interesting. I haven't seen that done before. So check that off the box of things that, the zombie genre hasn't done yet.
If you've ever wondered what it was.
Yeah. So, and I don't even know how that works because it's, not in the sense of like, not necessarily in the sense of okay, how does a zombie get another zombie pregnant kind of thing, but I mean, I guess I can understand in the sense that you make your own science in this world, and so you could say, well, these like this first one, this main one, this alpha was still sort of undead in a way that makes it work in some way. You can just write a couple lines to make it work. My thing is like, how does it work in that the baby, like, is it alive? Because I don't know, or is it born undead? I that's where my mind goes. It's like, how does it? What is it? Does it?
What do you feed it?
Blood.
Yeah, like I mean,
brains.
Do zombies have heartbeats? Like, does the zombie have a heartbeat? And so then, like, would this baby even have had a heartbeat in the sense of like, if it was born dead, wouldn't that mean it was alive? It's so weird. It's like. I don't know.
That whole scene was just odd. That whole scene, it was just odd to have that into the mix. Like the whole idea of like the king, the alpha being the king, and then like his whole kingdom. Like I really liked that part of the story. I thought that was like, oh, that's a really interesting take, an interesting way to go. But then like when they were having this really emotional moment like between the two of them, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, what is this? Like, this is just unspoken love that we forbidden love. Like, what is going on? Like, And then when the baby was revealed, I was just like, so they fucked. And that's something that I don't want to. It's just they felt very animalistic or very primal, to the point where it's like, I mean, hundreds of years ago, like tribe type of primal type of thing. And it's just like, okay, that's a really interesting take and a really interesting way to go with the story. But hey, I'm all in. I'm still here.
I don't know, Lo. Like you joke about like the emotional connection between these two zombies and how it seems laughable, I guess. But sadly to me, I bought in more to that than most of the emotional scenes between the living humans in the movie.
That's
Like
fair. That's fair.
like the acting, the dialogue, these kind of emotional moments between our characters, I found to be so poorly done and so bad that
Forced.
I yeah, I found the the relationship between this king and this queen zombie, and just fascinated by this whole like different kind of take on zombies, that I thought that worked more. If anything, I found myself maybe rooting more for these zombies than I did these
I know,
humans.
right?
Like I don't know. There was that one moment where, they're coming out of the vault, and I don't remember the characters' names. I know what Dave Bautista was Scott, but the woman that he was with,
Yeah.
who's like, I didn't come here for the money. I came here for you. And just like when that started, I'm like, oh, this is not good. Please stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, her Maria
Yeah.
Cruz, right? I think that's what her name was. Yeah, I was with you on that. I was just like,
Same.
please shut the fuck up. Like
Yeah.
I was not here for that. I was not here for
No.
that shit.
Yeah, not only like,
Like I said, I mean, it was like I felt like we were in trouble if Dave Bautista is like
yeah,
the foremost authority when it came to acting, and we're watching it.
right.
It was like, why are you here? And it's just like, is somebody going to speak? Like, that's your cue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then obviously,
It's
whatever,
hard
they're
to.
very talented because they have a role and they're movie stars and they're acting. So bravo to them. But it's like some of it I just couldn't get behind. I was just like, no.
I think it's hard to know exactly in these types of movies um, a way to be able to root for the protagonist in this crew, because there's no one necessarily strong enough to have that kind of personality that makes you care enough specifically about them. They go into a little bit of backstories and try and build that a little bit, but I don't know if they necessarily succeed. Other than I think I found one or two characters, the pairing of them, interesting enough to where I was like a little more invested than the rest, and that would be between the guy, I think his name was Dietz, and then who was the safecracker, and then the Vanderhole, I think his
Mm-hmm.
name was. And those two guys, I
Yeah.
started to like their chemistry towards there. But yeah, aside from that,
Mm.
it was like everyone else is just like it just, I don't know. I think with what Zach was doing in terms of making a very interesting story, I think he still fell into a lot of the same traps that seemed very cliche, and also stuck to that formula of what movies of these types always do, instead of going out and trying to do some surprising things and things different. It's like as soon as you see, I think his the actor's name is Garrett Dillahunt, who was like the head of security for
Yeah.
the guy, you just know he's bad, and
Yeah.
he's gonna mess things up. And it's like, okay, that's you see that coming a mile away. It's like, why not do a little something different there, or
Right.
a little something in some of these
Yeah.
areas, instead of falling right into the same trappings that all these stories seem to have. And it's like, yeah, that would have been more interesting to me than just following along the like paint by numbers in that way.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Or even Irvin, the character that played, I think his name was Burt Cummings in the show, but he's from Sons of Anarchy. He played Shades in the
Oh yeah,
what's it
Luke
called
Cage.
series, the Marvel series, Luke Cage series. He's a talented actor. Like I used to watch him on Sons of Anarchy, and I've seen him in several of those scenes. And that boy can act. He acts his ass off. Like he is really really good in this. And I was just like, dude, over. we're acting like reaching for right here. Like it's so very clear that you're just an over the top bad guy that it's you're gonna come back. I was totally expecting and waiting for him to come back and be the movie, and it's just like I just found his character just nauseating. Like you're very just paint by numbers, like you said, Bobby, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, it was Theo Rossi, I believe. Yeah,
Theo Rossi. Yeah,
yeah.
And he's a talented actor.
Curious.
Like I've seen him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good in everything I've seen him. No, I was just gonna say that again. I like some of the things he was doing with the zombies and making them a little bit different, but then it still sort of falls into the same kind of category of them just being regular zombies. Like, is this universe he's trying to build? Is it in a way that he's going to evolve them in some sort of way and make them a little bit different? Because I guess my thought goes to the end of the movie with the character of Vanderho, how he gets out, but then realizes he's been bitten. And I assume he doesn't go full zombie right on the plane. He probably doesn't kill himself. And so I imagine that's how you get more zombies in another movie, a sequel or whatever. But since they do establish the fact that if you're bitten by an alpha, you retain those like heightened abilities and some of the more cognitive thoughts. And so I do wonder if there's something there that maybe he becomes the new alpha version of this. And so we'll see that and transpire in a sequel. So, but aside from that, I don't know if they're trying to do more with the zombies other than just have them just a little slightly more intelligent in a way.
I mean, that seems to be the big difference in this movie itself, like even before sequel, that main like alpha group, I guess, is definitely, there's definitely some intelligence there. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but I was gonna say one thing too about this movie that I wouldn't even say I bumped on, just really like wasn't at all working for me, is just the lack of concern, it seemed, with the impending nuclear blast coming their way. They watch this broadcast and hey, it's been moved up a day, which means it's going to happen in an hour and a half or something, like hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, there's some concern at first, not nearly enough concern. I right off the bat, I think they watched that and I would have thought the characters would have been like scrambling, like, just crazy animals, like holy shit, like an hour and a half, that's not enough time. And then not only that, but like they get into the vault, there's still that moment that we talked about a second ago between Dave Bautista and the other actress, which is happening in the midst of, hey, we've got like 20 minutes. And there's constantly all these moments of dialogue and just like really just people taking way too much time. It did not at
the
all
sense of
make
urgency
sense.
wasn't really there.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, the sense of it was just not there. It's just like, hey, nuke's coming. It's cool. Let's check out all this money.
We'll
How dope is this? Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, David, because maybe you might remember this a little bit better. But didn't they say that it wasn't like a full-on nuke? It was like maybe like a low-grade nuke or something, to where it's not going to cause radioactive activity for like 100, years or something. But it was something on the level of like it still could knock out, a city the size of Las Vegas, but it wasn't going to be radioactive. I thought they said something about that, but
if they did, I missed it.
It was a special nuke.
So
because
I wondered about that too with the ending. I mean, obviously there's that moment where he's closing him into the safe, and I'm like, all right, so he's trying to save his life. He'll probably survive inside the safe. But then I did not expect, like right at the end of the movie, hey, he's out. Like I'm stepping out into ground zero of a nuclear blast with sacks full of money and just walking away. And I'm like, or immediately I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like,
Yeah.
are we gonna have some Chernobyl kind of effects immediately happening to this dude or anything? And no, man, he makes it to an airport. He gets a plane with some of the money he's got. He's on a plane enjoying champagne. I'm like, I mean, obviously we find out that he's been
He's
bitten,
flirting
but
with the
right.
he's flirting with the hostesses. I mean, he's like thinking the Mile High Club, like he's on cloud nine, and then he's just like,
Yeah.
oh man, I got bit. Oh no.
Oh no. Never mind that I stepped out right at ground zero of a nuclear blast. Like, so yes, if there was something said in like one of the news reports, um, that kind of said that something about it being a kind of nuclear blast that wouldn't cause that kind of radiation, I missed it. Or
I'll
yeah,
go back and check it.
I'm curious because at least I guess that would
Yeah.
explain the ending a little bit.
One thing I still thought about too, I thought about it even slightly before it happened, is that the whole idea of why wouldn't they just, okay, if they have to get the money, if they were under the impression that they were supposed to take this money out and then they would split it. Well, they've shown this in movies before, and that's why it popped into my head. But why not just hang out in the safe and let the bombs hit, and then all the zombies are gone, and you've got the money?
Yeah.
And so, well, you could have been just cool as ice, you
Yeah.
know, and not had to worry about a thing because. Yeah,
It was definitely
apparently
too close
they
to
always seem to make
call
that
to
a point.
warrant going, no, let's try to make it to the helicopter. Like, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been like, you know what, guys, you guys go to the helicopter. Even if I have to ride out a good week inside this safe with all this money,
Right.
I'll survive. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
One thing too, I was going to bring up, just talking about my general thoughts. I don't know what you guys thought of this, and I guess I feel like we've been seeing this more and more artistically, this kind of artistic decision in films. But you know, I don't know if you guys noticed. Like, I guess Zack Snyder was also his own DP in this film.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think I noticed that in the credits. He was the director of photography as well. And in the film, I would say the extreme majority of this film is shot with an extremely like narrow depth of field. Like,
Yeah, I did notice
basically, like, you know, not even someone's entire head would be in focus. Just what was important, their face, and everything else is crazy out of focus. And in one sense, it looked good. I will say it looked pretty good on my 4K TV, but I don't know. At times, I was like, "Is this a bit much?" I was kind of unsure what I thought of it, so I was kind of curious if you guys thought about that, noticed it.
Yeah, I definitely noticed it, and honestly, I thought for a while there that it had something to do with Tig Notaro, and maybe that hides the effect because I don't know how much you know about that whole thing.
No, I don't know.
I do.
And forgive me if I'm not saying her name right, but I thought this her name is Tig Notaro. Is that she replaced the actor of TJ? What's his last name?
No, it was
the
David,
comedian.
The Elia, Dave DeElia. That's who she replaced.
That's who she replaced. Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
she really.
So I knew she had replaced an
DeElia.
actor.
Chris DeElia.
D'Elia. Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
Chris D'Elia. Yeah.
That's who she replaced.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So, and he had got in some trouble within this last year, some allegations of underage activity with minors and stuff like that. And so they had to digitally replace him with the actress that's in there. So I thought maybe the way that depth of field was shot and some of the way it looked was a way to kind of hide some of that digital effects that was in there. And so instead of making it look weird for just the scenes that she was replaced in, or she replaced him in, that he kind of used it more to just sort of blend it all together as a whole way of making it look that way. Of course, I could be completely off base because I don't know that that's the case, but that was where my mind went to because of the fact of how it did look. And it was noticeable to me that there was that depth of field that was there, and how you'd see, you know, like you said, David, the face was in focus, but a lot of it around there, the area was very much out of focus. And I thought maybe that might be the reason.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of anything about that, so I could see that being it if they did that like as an effect as opposed to like actually capturing it like on camera like that way in focus or not. I don't know.
But yeah, definitely noticed it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was hard not to notice, but I don't know if it was. I was just kind of curious. Was it something that like bothered you guys, or did you kind of like the way it looked? I was kind of unsure what I thought of it. In a way, I guess I kind of
Yeah.
liked it, but then part of me was like, "This is a bit much." Like, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It felt overused to me.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, I thought I liked it. Well, I did like it, but it just felt like he was using it and relying on it too much, I guess.
Right.
And I'm still curious, even though I mentioned it already. Sorry, go ahead, Yasha.
No, I was just going to say the same thing. I stand by that. But then we talked about how that was overused and things like that because the could have trimmed the film down a lot if he had just pulled away from some of those close-ups, those background fading and shots and whatnot. So, but go ahead.
I was just going to say that I still kind of wonder what this whole universe is. I know he had mentioned up there being like animated movies as well or something of that sort. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there is a spinoff, either short film series, something that has to do with the character of Dietz, if I'm not mistaken. But that's all I know. And I don't know if there's any other information available, if he's done interviews where he said sort of a little bit more about his plan. But yeah, I'm still trying to put my head around the idea of what he's thinking. I mean, is he thinking a time set within this time period before the nukes hit or the nuke hit, or is he thinking about something afterwards? Or a blend of those two, like, you know, a movie that takes place after the animated series takes place during. I don't know. I just don't have any idea of what the plan is there.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard anything, to be honest, that about this being like the beginning of a bigger universe. You guys talking about it is the first I've heard of it. So I wasn't really even aware that this is going to expand into anything. And with that said, too, like I said, I finished this right before we started recording. I didn't have a lot of time, so I did not watch credits. Like there wasn't like some type of after credits scene or anything, was there?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, I thought you'd give me at least a little bit more with an after credits, but there was nothing there. So
Nothing.
I do have a feeling that it's going to end up doing really well on Netflix. I think it's going to be one of those movies where a lot of the Zack Snyder fans will check it out, and people in general who have seen or heard the advertising for it will end up checking it out, and it'll be in Netflix's best interest to continue on with this universe that Zach wants to do for it. So I do believe we'll get more there, and I like this enough to continue on to see what else he decides to do within this universe. And I will say, as sort of like my last little thing about it, is that I think the smartest person that was in the movie was the guy who said, "Oh, I didn't know this was about zombies. I'm outie." And he just took off, and that was all you saw that dude in the whole movie. He was like, "I don't care how much money you talking about. You talking about zombies? Peace, y'all. Good luck. Hope y'all make it."
He really did.
He
He really did peace out on all those people. That was great. That was pretty funny. He was just like, "Nah, man, I'm not the one. Not today, Satan. Not today."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he wasn't having it. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'll see y'all when y'all get back. See you when I see you.
Well, it sounds like that was your final thoughts, Bobby. Yasha, you got anything?
Yeah.
Anybody got anything before we wrap things up?
I got nothing else. That was it was a fun movie though. I mean, for the most part, for what it was, if you just take it as what it was my final thought.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, I guess I feel like I'm being the most sour on the film of the three of us. I mean, overall, you know, I hate to say for a Netflix film, but for a movie you're not driving to a movie theater to see and you just can watch it at home. I mean, yeah, it is fun for the most part, but I guess I found that again, just the characters are just so poorly acted and written that it kind of got a little old and annoying for me. But it makes it hard for me to recommend. But also considering the length, like if it were like, oh yeah, it was a badly written movie, but it was only an hour and a half, and it was just a zombie movie, then I'd be a little more like, okay, well, it's, you know, a little easier to watch. But this is 2.5, 2:35, I think. It's not short. So
that's a commitment. It is definitely a commitment.
Is. Yeah, it's a commitment for sure. But yeah, with that, I guess we're going to wrap things up, unless you guys have anything else outside of the movie you want to discuss.
I didn't see anything else, honestly. Just the series that I've always been watching and talking about on here. So I haven't seen any other movies, unless Joshua, did you have a chance to see anything else?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch anything else just yet. That was my big one this week. I just wanted to make sure that I got a chance to watch Army of the Dead. That was it.
Yeah, same here. Same for all of us. But yeah, with that, we're going to wrap things up. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone listening and watching. You can email us at feedback@flickereffect.com. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to leave any questions or comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever we go live or post any videos in the future. You can also reach us on Instagram and Twitter at @flicker_effect. With that, I'm David Lott.
Bobby Jackson.
And I'm Yasha Wilson.
Thanks for listening.